Hey, what's up? It's Hillary. Welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to be going over my April TBR. Now, you may be seeing the bookshelves behind me and wondering, where am I? So we recently moved and I am currently in my new bedroom. I used to have shelves that were screwed into the wall and it was like a whole system. It was technically a closet system that I used as bookshelves. And in the new place, I didn't want to have to screw anything into the wall, or at least, minimize that. So I went a different route here and I got some Billy bookcases from IKEA. I just put those up the other night. There will be a video showing you the process of putting that together. And then hopefully this is the only video you'll see where there's no books on the shelves. I'm hoping tonight to do a part 2 of that video and get my TBR books on these shelves. We have some built-in bookshelves out in like a common area, and we've decided my red books are going to be going on those shelves as more of a display. And then my TBR books are going to go on these shelves so that I can see them regularly and feel excited and motivated by looking at them to actually read them. So that's kind of how that's going to work. So yes, please don't mind the bare shelves for this one video. Hopefully that's it. As always, I have picked 9 books that I want to read this month, and I only have one book club book in April, and that is The Right Move by Liz Tomforde. And we selected this because it is a basketball romance, and we are going to an NBA game for Fourth Wing Night as a book club. So this is the same thing we did back in the fall for a hockey game, so we decided to do it again. I am excited to read this book. I have heard that Ryan Shea is one of the best book boyfriends, and I can't wait to meet him. I did read Mile High, which was the first book in the series. I shared my thoughts on that in a previous reading update, but Ryan Shea is Stevie's brother. Stevie was the main female character in Mile High. And so now we're going to get to know her brother a little bit better. I do have another book club this month, but we are reading Hazelthorn, which I have already read. So I'm pretty sure I'm not going to do a full reread. I might just kind of read through the highlights that I made on the Kindle version, and that will be good enough. So going into the rest of the books on my TBR, a lot of them are new releases. There's so many books coming out. I feel like April 7th was a really big date, and maybe March 31st was a big date as well. And so I'm not reading as many books this month that I already own. I'm kind of allowing myself to do some library books and things like that for some new releases, but I do have some of them here to go over. So the first one is Mayhem and the Mortal by Shanora Williams. I have read other books by this author. She writes in multiple genres. She has some contemporary romance, she has some fantasy, and she has some thriller books out there. So I've read a thriller book by her. I've read the Tether trilogy by her, which is a fantasy series, and I read one of her romances. I can't remember the title. It was a pink cover. And she's a great writer, and so I'm really excited to see, what she does for this fantasy series. And I'm actually not entirely sure if this is a standalone or the first book in a series. So we will find that out when we read it. I'm kind of getting the vibe that this is like maybe cozy romantasy, but then I'm not sure because there's like blood on the cover, and I don't know if it's cozy. Zyra doesn't want a hero, she needs a weapon. This says, from this point forward, there's no turning back. I'm going to save Anala or die trying. And my best hope, no, my only hope, is this man. So I climb onto the horse's back and stiffen my spine as I accept my fate. Maybe reluctant allies to lovers. I love that trope. That's a fun one. Another one is one that I just got in the mail. This was an April 7th release, but I surprisingly got it early, even though it was shipped by Barnes & Noble. It usually doesn't happen that way. And I'm really excited about this one. Oh my gosh, I love this cover. Oh, okay. Here's the cover. And this is a fantasy based on Haitian culture. And so I've heard that there's great Black representation and great queer representation in this. Okay, so it says, Lou watched the love of his life walk the plank and sink into the inky black depths of the sea. Nena was dead, or so he thought. 5 years later, Lieutenant Lou Ortega, dutiful fleet officer, embarks on a mission to hunt down a powerful talisman now in the hands of a runaway mermaid. On his quest, he discovers the impossible. Nenna is still alive. Fierce and cunning and as breathtaking as ever, Nenna's won enough bloody sword fights as a pirate captain to earn the nickname Devil of the Deep. A love letter to queer people of color and profoundly soulful. Wow. And this is just so beautiful. I'm so glad I pre-ordered this. I ended up pre-ordering it when Barnes & Noble was having their 25% off pre-orders. This is beautiful. I love how she's wearing her jewelry, and maybe like the seashell on her head is very colorful. Oh, it's gorgeous. And the way she's almost like picking up the water with her hands, like she commands it. Okay, really excited about this one. Another new release that I picked up from the library is Green and Deadly Things by Jen Lyons. I believe this is fantasy, but it also might have a little bit of horror or something in it. It talks about necromancy. So the blurb on the back says, centuries ago, necromancy almost destroyed the world. That's how history remembers it. History remembers it wrong. And then just with the vibes on this cover, I'm getting like maybe botanical horror. It's really hard to tell what this is, but I think it might be a hand or a rock. Oh, it's a hand. It's a hand holding this sword. Look at that. Okay. Yes, that has been stumping me for so long, and I think I just figured it out. On the blurbs on the back, it says, Lyons proves she is worthy of comparison to other masters of epic fantasy. Moving at breakneck speed, Green and Deadly Things pairs incredibly compelling magical ideas with deeply terrifying monsters. So that's where I kind of feel like the horror might be coming in. This novel grabs a bunch of now classic fantasy tropes and gives them a good shake. A soaringly good read. Ooh, I love that when they have like a unique take on something that we've seen before. Wow, okay, for fans of S.A. Chakraborty, Robin Hobb, and Martha Wells, a page-turning standalone fantasy of necromancy and magical mayhem from Jen Lyons. We've got knights who are defending their world from the forces of necromancy. Whole forests are coming alive and devouring anyone so foolish as to trespass, as if the land itself has turned upon humanity. Kataris, who is a necromancer, knows something history has forgotten. The threat of this wild magic is part of a cycle that has repeated countless times. Life after death, chaos after order. And if she and Math can't find a new way to balance the scales, this won't just be the end of the world as they know it, but the end of all life everywhere. See what it's all about. I have not read anything by this author before, so this will be a totally new experience. Another new release on this TBR that just came out is Game On by Navessa Allen. This is the third book in the Into Darkness series, which started with Lights Out. So Game On follows Tyler and Stella. We did get to meet Tyler in Caught Up. He bought into Junior and Lauren's club as I think like a part owner. And then we got some hints that he was maybe into some gambling or something like that. So he is the lead male character, and then I don't think we met Stella, so we'll be getting to know her, but I think these are really fun. You know, they are a little bit darker, but they're not super dark, and I think that the way Navessa Allen writes these books, it's almost like an introduction. Like if you think you might be interested in dark romance, but some dark romance is just like too dark, these are a good option because it's kind of like an introduction, and there's usually some kind of kink or something like that that I personally don't know much about that these characters are exploring, and you know, you get to learn a little bit about different things that people enjoy and the ways that they enjoy them, and I like that. Another new release is one that has not come out yet but is coming out very soon. Big Girl Blitz by Danielle Allen, another third in a series. Okay, so this is the third book in the Curve series, which starts with Curvy Girl Summer. I love this series. They are pretty spicy, especially Plus Size Player was book 2. That one was very, very spicy, but I love these because it's centered around this group of female friends, and each friend has their own book. And so in this book, we're getting Jasmine as the last character, or Jazz. And all of them are, you know, curvy plus size women who are very confident and proud to be curvy plus size women. And while the books do have instances where they encounter fat phobia and things like that, they stand up to it no problem because they're confident, and so they're able to stand up to it. And I find it very inspiring as a plus size woman myself to see women sort of not being impacted by public comments or comments about their body from family members and things like that, and just seeing how they handle that and how they deal with that, I find very inspiring. And then I think these books are also really funny. I really enjoyed Curvy Girl Summer. I think it made it onto my top books of 2025, if I'm not mistaken, because that one was just really fun. She was on a dating app and found a spot at her local bar where she kind of had an arrangement with the bartenders, and they knew that she was meeting dates there, and they would kind of keep an eye on her in case the person was shady or something weird happened. And then she ended up falling for the bartender. So that was really fun. I definitely recommend checking that out, but I'm very excited to read the third book in the series and just see where this is going. Another new release from March that is on my April TBR is Aicha. This is a, I believe, standalone adult fantasy that is a retelling of a Moroccan myth of Aicha, who was a female warrior in Morocco during the time of Portuguese occupation. I remember the description talking about things like female rage and empowerment of women and things like that. So that sounds right up my alley. And also, I don't know much about the history of Morocco or about this myth of Aicha. So I'm really excited to, be exposed to some new cultures, some new stories, and some new takes on fantasy. The last new release on my April TBR is going to be Starshipped by Sebastian. This one came out earlier in March, I believe. This is a male-male contemporary romance featuring two co-stars on a long-running sci-fi TV show. Sebastian, as far as I'm familiar, has typically written historical romances, usually male-male, but this, I believe, is her first contemporary male-male romance. And so I'm really excited to see if I enjoy it. I think that premise is really cute. Like, they star on a show together, and I believe there's even like fans of the show ship their characters together, and they're wondering if the show might be queer baiting people because they're kind of implying that there's a romantic vibe between these two characters, but then they never really end up together. I feel like we've seen that in a lot of shows. Like, is a network TV show gonna be brave enough to have their two main male stars get together? Maybe not, but some of them like to tease us. And I think it's kind of maybe that kind of vibe with this book. The last book on my April TBR is going to be Project Hail Mary. I have owned this audiobook for a while now, and when the movie came out, I definitely had FOMO that I wasn't, going to see the movie. And so I want to go ahead and listen to the audiobook so that I can hopefully still catch the movie while it's in theaters. I want to experience that movie in a theater. I don't go to the movie theater very often, but this seems like it will be worth it. And I've just been hearing amazing things from so many people about both the audiobook and the movie. So seems like a good bet. And that is going to be it for my April TBR. I hope that I enjoy these 9 books. If any of these books are on your TBR too, or if any of these books are now something that you've added to your TBR, I want to know that as well. So please do let me know down in the comments below. Coming up on my channel will be some moving vlogs. One will be a part 1 of building the shelves that are right behind me, and one will be a part 1 of decorating our built-in bookshelves out in the common area with, books I've already read and knickknacks and artwork and things like that. I have some cool ideas for that. And both of those videos will probably be in at least 2 parts to those videos, if not more, for the bookshelves in the common area. Yeah. So be on the lookout for those. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, please consider doing so, and you'll get alerts about those upcoming videos. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. Bye. Hi.